back to the channel, guys. So in today's video, we have a really cool upgrade that we're gonna be installing on the rear end of this GMC 2500 HD Denali. It's a 2018. It's my personal vehicle. I absolutely love it. It's the newest addition to our channel. It's a 6.6 liter Duramax. And I don't have traction bars at the moment, and I think this is a very great, inexpensive way to upgrade that. So we will be putting that to the test in this video. But also, kind of a neat little spin to the video. Make sure you watch till the very end, but I'm not going to be installing these in this video. Pretty sure I explained this to you guys, but this L5P Duramax that we currently have on the channel, I'm going to be doing a emissions build on it, if you will. I will be installing high performance upgraded parts, but this stuff right here is pretty awesome. This is your up pipes, your high flow PPE up pipes, as well as your 3-inch down pipe and your high flow manifolds. And I do sell these on the website as well. I highly recommend this stuff if you do have a Duramax of any year. Definitely pick this stuff up because that stuff is so restrictive. The reason why I'm doing this test is because I want to get numbers, I want to get data, raw data, like EGT, boost, sound, stuff like that, before I install this and see if it's even worth the money. I love doing stuff like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this awesome suspension part on the rear end of this truck. Let me show you what it's all about. And then after that, we'll hook it up to the trailer. I always hate testing parts I'm unfamiliar with. I'm familiar with this stuff right here, but you know, stuff like this, I don't know, I'm kind of skeptical. I guess we'll see what happens and give you the honest truth. That's why I make these videos. But all right, let's get to it. Stay tuned. I am going to be installing this Roadmaster active suspension system right here. And the reason why I picked this up is because I really don't want to install airbags on this truck. It's just more stuff in the back, more maintenance. I decided to go with this only because she squats a little bit when I hook up to a trailer. And all the research that I've done, this is the easiest upgrade, the easiest bolt-on that you can do to minimize the squat in the rear when you're pulling a trailer. I'll leave a link in the description where you guys can pick up this product. I'm also going to be doing an install video and review on my other channel, so make sure you check that out. It's going to be Truckmaster Garage. Again, link in the description. Then once these are installed, I'm actually going to back this up to my 36-foot camper travel trailer. Let's go ahead and take this thing on the highway and get our stock readings before we install this stuff. I hooked up my Denali to the 36-foot camper trailer that I have. This is a 2021 Cherokee. I love this thing, by the way. And what I did is I took the weight off of it, so it's sitting on the hitch. And as you guys can tell, it does sag just a little bit. So before I install this, I want to get a measurement. It's going to be about 41.5 inches off the ground. So now that we got our measurements, we're going to go ahead and install this Roadmaster active suspension system right here on the leaf springs. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the truck back on the trailer and see what measurements we have. What we're going to go ahead and do is take that hoop right there and we're going to loop it right over the leaf spring bushing. Just hook it right there and let it rest in place for now. We got to zip off this nylocker nut. You're going to take all that out. So I'm just spinning the spring to tighten everything. I keep tightening this thing until these springs start to open up. Because we're going to be using these little spacers right here to determine how far apart these springs are going to be from each other. The white one will give you a 25% gain, and for a more aggressive gain, you can also go up to 40%. I'm actually going to use this because it's a diesel and we haul a lot of weight, so I'm just going to go big or go home. As you can see, the 25% gain slides right through the center of these little coils right here. Maybe a little too easy. So if I was to do that, I'd definitely tighten this up just a little bit so we're just barely passing through. I'm looking for more, so I want to go ahead and use this, but we still got to keep going. All right, where'd that take us? Not yet. That's a 24 millimeter. Now I'm tightening up the locking nut. All right, nice and tight. And of course you want to make sure that these nuts on the back, these are 24 millimeter as well. Make sure you tighten those up. And then if you look underneath the leaf spring, this is where that'll actually rest right up against that block, that lift block. So I think we're good to go. I'll go ahead and tighten up everything else. So that'll complete the install process. Very easy, straightforward. I'll go ahead and get this truck on the ground and then we'll hook it up to the camper and see what we come up with. So we have it on the ground, and as you can tell, the back end of this truck is sitting up way high versus the front. So maybe I should have went ahead and used that less aggressive spacer in the back. We are definitely not gonna roll like that. But the cool thing about this is the fact that this thing actually works. It proves itself. What I mean about that is the traction bar idea, where it actually hooks up to the back end of your axle and connects right up to your frame. This right here connects to the leaf spring and still connects, if you will, to the frame, if you see that. Now, if you look at my LBZ Duramax, I have traction bars on this thing. I'm not saying that it's just as effective, but the fact that the bar is connected to the frame and then the bar is connected to the rear axle. If you think about it, most trucks, the axle is pretty much floating. It's really just hooked up to these leaf springs in the drive shaft. That's pretty much it. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and jack up the back end really quick and then just loosen up that bolt so it lowers the back end a little bit so we can actually drive this thing normally. Let's do that. Check it out, guys. I went ahead and just loosened that bolt. Got it off the ground, barely passes through. I think we're good. We'll go ahead and do the other side right now and then we'll drop the truck and see where it sits. Guys, this is frustrating. You see, this is supposed to be a short and easy video, and then I find problems, but I'm kind of glad this is happening so we can nip this in the butt now. And maybe you guys got to be here in person. I don't know if you could tell on camera, but this side right here is a lot lower than this side, just by eyeballing it. Usually when I test out newer products, I get a little frustrated sometimes because I think that's the problem, but it isn't. Look at this right here. I went ahead and just loosened this thing. So it's not even like adding any tension to the back whatsoever. So that's not the problem. It's not jacking the back up like I thought it did. So I'm just gonna chalk it up and say it's close to an inch taller on this side right here for some weird reason. It's kind of weird how I didn't notice it when I bought this truck from the dealership. I'm really picky when I buy vehicles. You probably saw those older videos I posted about what to look for in buying a used Duramax. I picked this truck apart and I never noticed that. I think I was just checking out like the drivetrain, the engine, you know, all the most expensive, important stuff. But I'm thinking about it and I wonder if it's a bad shock. I'm a little mind blown right now, but let's try to figure this one out together. Since I have the camera, I might as well go ahead and point and shoot. But I'm here to make a video and test this new stuff out. But obviously I can't get very accurate if I can't get the back end leveled. So let's figure this out together. So I'm gonna go ahead and phone a friend. Actually, I already did. I got Ryan from Ryan's Diesel Service on the phone. You guys know, when I run into issues, I usually call him. If you guys are interested in his turbos or any service work, definitely reach out to him. Especially for some of you guys that live in the Wisconsin area and you want to go ahead and get your truck all performanced up, definitely reach out to them. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, so I know you get a lot of service work. It seems like the left side of my truck is sitting higher than the right side of my truck in the rear. Do you ever see that when customers bring their trucks in? What is there a fix or is there something I need to look for? Because I am stumped, man.
No, definitely. So I have seen that before. I actually had it on one of my own trucks too, one of my old plow trucks. What I ended up doing, we went, pulled off the leafs, got a new leaf pack built from a local shop down here in Milwaukee. That's all they do is springs and suspension stuff. They built us a new set of leaf packs for the rear for the thing. We slid them in there and it leveled it out and everything was good.
But this is for the L5P. This isn't an LBZ. This is a newer truck.
No, definitely.
What else can I check for? I mean, I'm actually in the process, after I get off the phone with you, I got to check the tire pressure. But is there anything else like that you can think of?
Once you go and check over, as far as your tire pressure and that sort of thing, and you know that everything's good, nothing looks like it's out of place. Look at your keys as well too, your front torsion keys. Double check and verify that stuff as well too, just to make sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate your input on that one because I didn't even think about it. So we'll go ahead and check that. But yeah, so just check the measurements, front and rear, left and right, and then of course, like I said, I got to do the tire pressure still. And I guess I'll get under there and figure out what's going on with the torsion keys because I guess that'd be my last step. Thanks, Ryan.
Not a problem. Good luck. Keep in touch.
All right. See ya. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
So we are at 70 PSI where it needs to be. I'm thinking if this side right here is lower, which it doesn't look lower just by looking at it, then this is our problem, which I hope it is. We'll see though. All right. 70 PSI, look at that. Okay, so we're good back here. All right, so let's see here. So we are about 10 threads showing on this bolt right here. Oh boy, you guys got to see this. All right, so this is the driver's side torsion key, and there's a torsion bolt right there. And just by eyeballing it, Ryan was absolutely correct. That's about 5 threads showing. See, it's always good to have a friend. I'm gonna get on the hoist and show you guys a little further. But if you look over here, there's got to be at least 10 threads, maybe more showing. So this is really out, and that is really in. I highly doubt this was set from the factory. Maybe it was, I don't know. Here we go, guys. Man, I love this hoist. All right, let's get under here and show you what I'm talking about. Here's the drive shaft transfer case right here. And then here is your cross member with the keys, like we talked about right here, going across. Just for some of you guys that don't know, but as you can tell, this is backed off way too much. And this one right here is pushed in. From my understanding, those bolts are there to articulate the front end of the truck by putting pressure on these tension bars, which are these guys right there. Basically, when you tighten that bolt and it goes in, it's gonna raise that side of the truck up. So this side of the truck makes sense, right? The driver's side of the truck, that bolt is worked in quite a bit. But since that bolt is worked in more, the driver's side of this truck is gonna work its way up higher. And of course, it's gonna pick up the back end too, because it's picking up one side of the truck. All right, so now that I've done that, I'm gonna go ahead and measure it out. Could count threads though. Let's see here. And we need to go in just a little bit. We're dead on, guys. All right, let's go ahead and lower this truck down and see what happens here. Hopefully it fixes our problem. I'm sure it will. Definitely lowered in the rear, which is good. Rear's still a little higher though, interesting. But let's see the back here. I gotta get this even, guys. It definitely lowered this side right here. Definitely lowered it. We could totally tell a difference. It's not perfect though. We're about 43 1/4. So we're off about a 1/2 inch now. I'm gonna go ahead and get this truck off the ground and redo that process to try to get it level. Try to get it somewhat close here. As you can see, we installed these, no problem whatsoever. I still gotta tighten up the nuts and stuff, but I got everything pretty set. And what I did is I jacked up the front end and I worked those torsion bolts back in to maybe jack the front end up a little bit. The tires actually aren't on the ground. I gotta lower that. Wow, I think it did. I think we fixed our problem, guys. Look at that. Awesome. All right, here we go, final test. We'll hook it up to the camper. We have everything installed, as you can see. So let's compare these results. Let's do this. All right, so now that we have the trailer hooked up to the truck, we're gonna do the same exact test. Basically from the ground to the wheel well. And where are we at here? So our last reading was 41 1/2, and you guys can see the tape measure. So we're about 42 1/4. I mean, we'd be pushing it to 42 1/2. So we'll just chalk this up to an even inch. But let's go ahead and back up here a little bit and actually see what it looks like appearance-wise with that trailer hooked up. I gotta say, guys, we just improved our squat in the rear. That looks great. Let's look on the other side here. All right. Oh, and just in case you guys are wondering, I hate to throw this in the video like all off subject or whatever, but we are going to get to this truck very soon, I promise. Once I get some of these other little things knocked out, and of course waiting on a door, because it's ridiculous. A passenger side door on an old 2nd gen Dodge Ram. You know how hard it is to find one of those in good shape? Like, it's like 600 bucks for one. I'm not gonna pay $600 for a door, that's just insane. But I need a door. That's what I'm waiting on. After paint and body, it's coming back here, put wheels and tires on it, and then we're gonna go ahead and throw that 2nd turbo in there. So we're gonna have 2 turbos in this Dodge. It's gonna be awesome. Oh yeah, buddy. Pierce dump bed kit, check them out. Oops, forgot about that. I still gotta figure this out right here. The actual filler neck tube here. I'm gonna go ahead and do something with that, but yeah, that's pretty neat, isn't it? This bed right here, it's an 8-foot bed. It's gonna save my back, and it's gonna have 2 turbos on it. and it's got a fully built transmission, and it's got a built bottom end. Yeah, this thing's gonna be awesome and ready. Before we take this thing on a long trip, I always like to walk through it. But when you're pulling a camper, you gotta make sure there's nothing flying around in here, because I can easily break a window or put a hole in the wall. Do an Earl move. Oh, by the way, I finally got GMC key tags on the website, link in the description. This is something kind of new. We have the Duramax 3D printed key rings. These are pretty sweet. But anyways, let's get going. So definitely make sure that you watch out for that video. Hot and heavy, it's coming at you. This is the video I'm driving right now, getting my before results, and then I'll do my after results once I install that cool stuff. We'll do the same exact test. It's gonna be a very interesting comparison. I'm excited about it. All right, let's get our highest boost reading here. Looks like we are 28. All right, we're gonna go 28, guys. 28's our number. All right, guys, we are getting off the exit on a rest area, where I'm going to actually get my readings at idle, I guess, where it's sitting, after the truck's been running for about 30 minutes now. So let's go ahead and do that. Let it sit at idle. So it's leveled out now, so we are at 390, 391. So we're gonna go with that reading. So let's go ahead and get back on the highway and get our actual cruising speed. On a side note, this little suspension kit that I installed on the rear leaf springs, I gotta say, guys, this truck is definitely riding smoother. You can tell a difference, it's awesome. Kind of full throttle right now. You can see what's going on. 1100 EGT, that's crazy. Clearly above 900, so we're just gonna go with that, guys. We're about 920, 930. When we hit sort of an incline or an uphill, you can see about, I'd say about 1020, 1030. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do the sound test in cab. Nothing really special. You know, I'm not too sure if the new parts are going to make the truck sound a little throatier. I've seen it with some of my older diesels with new manifolds and downpipes and up pipes and stuff like that, but we'll see what happens with this L5P. We're not removing the CAT or the DPF or the EGR. We're just gonna be running the stock stuff, but we'll see what happens. Hey guys, so we are back home. It's been about 77 minutes, been driving for a while. Just brought it back in the yard here. And I gotta say, 940 to about, I would say 1,010. I don't want to give it a generalized, but that's about where we're at when we're doing 70 miles an hour on the highway. But my overall opinion on the RAS rear suspension kit here that we installed, nice and tight. I gotta say, guys, you know, I drive this truck all the time. I drive it pretty much every day, and you can tell a difference. You can definitely tell a difference with the ride quality. Highly recommended. The only downside is when you install them, your back end is up just a little bit than the front. That's something that I noticed. Obviously, I was a little jacked up anyways. I corrected that issue here on this video, but I would say the only downside, when you're not pulling a trailer, the back end will be up just a little bit higher. I guess if you can fine tune that and play with it, I think you can get it just right. But in our case, unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. That's it for this test today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I really want to hear your feedback. Also, if anybody has any opinions or ideas on how I can get this truck a little bit more level versus me jacking up the torsion keys just to get the front end up higher, thank you so much for watching the channel. We'll see you on the next one. Stay tuned.